Antioch, was this bustling city filled with all sorts of cultures and faiths, and it really became the perfect place for my mission to take root. Right here, at the crossroads of Jewish tradition and Gentile openness, I began to imagine a unified community of believers in Jesus. My message, honestly, was meant to go beyond the usual boundaries of ethnicity and custom. It was about the radical inclusivity of the gospel. As someone who was once a Pharisee, deeply steeped in Jewish law, I understood just how tough it would be to bring these two worlds together. Centuries of tradition and old beliefs, well, they don't just disappear overnight. Still, I believe with all my heart that the message of Jesus, a message of love and redemption for everyone, had the power to truly change hearts and break down even the oldest barriers. My vision wasn't just about peaceful coexistence, it was about real unity, rooted in Christ. I longed for a community where Jews and Gentiles, who had been separated by walls of suspicion and prejudice for so long, could finally worship together as equals, united by the faith we share. As someone who tries to think strategically and communicate clearly, I used a bunch of different approaches to encourage unity. I really understood the power of the written word, so I wrote letters to various communities, including that powerful letter to the Hebrews. In those letters, I tried to lay out as clearly as I could the theological reasons why Gentiles should be included in God's covenant, breaking down a lot of old prejudices and misunderstandings. But it wasn't just about theology. I also realized how important social connections could be. I worked hard to build relationships with influential people in both Roman and Judean society. The support from these prominent households gave our young Christian communities legitimacy and even some protection from possible persecution, which helped unity grow. And these alliances, well, they weren't just clever tactics. They really reflected my belief in the power of our shared humanity. I tried to look past social hierarchies and cultural differences, seeing the worth and dignity in every person, no matter where they came from. Even among the earliest followers of Jesus, unity was honestly always a bit of a struggle. Peter, who was a huge figure in the Jerusalem church, at first embraced my vision. He even shared meals with Gentile Christians in Antioch. That act of fellowship was a strong symbol of unity, showing everyone that the old barriers were starting to come down in Christ. But tradition, as you might expect, still had a powerful pull. When some folks arrived from James, the brother of Jesus, Peter got nervous about what they'd think and ended up withdrawing from those meals with Gentiles. That kind of backsliding really exposed how deep those old prejudices still ran, even among the apostles. I have to say, Peter's change of heart really grieved me. I saw it as a betrayal of the gospel's message of unity, and honestly, a dangerous precedent that could split the church. This whole episode just made it clear how fragile early Christian unity was, and how important it was to keep watch against prejudice creeping back in. Into this already complicated situation came Gaius Cassius Longinus, the new Roman governor of Syria. He was a man who took the law very seriously, and as a descendant of that famous Cassius who plotted against Julius Caesar, he definitely represented the firm hand of the Roman Empire. His arrival brought a sense of unease to our growing Christian community in Antioch. Longinus, with his strict commitment to Roman law and order, viewed any movement that might challenge the status quo with a lot of suspicion. He was especially wary of religious changes that could upset the delicate balance of Roman society. His presence, honestly, was a big obstacle for my vision of a unified church. Still, being pragmatic, I knew I had to navigate the complexities of Roman rule carefully. Openly confronting Longinus would have been disastrous for our fledgling community, but that didn't stop me. It just pushed me to find creative ways to keep spreading the gospel, even within the limits set by Roman authority.